Last of Us video game series is one of my favorites of all time. Those two games are a timeless classic that I've been wanting to play again because they're just so good with the quality of writing, and I think they're a nearly flawless experience. And for a long time, they announced the HBO adaptation of the series, and as we all know, video game adaptations are usually a mixed bag. I mean, there used to be a curse with video game adaptations where most of them were like really terrible or like not loyal to the like base material, but I gotta say that The Last of Us adaptation is really good, and it actually follows the game pretty closely. It is a very faithful adaptation, and it has just so many things that really make it work. And also, it has a lot of changes, so it's like not really a one-to-one adaptation. It has a few changes here and there, but more or less follows the story of the game. So today, I'm going to analyze what are some of the things that I enjoyed the most about the series, what I think they could have done differently, what they like got right in the series, and also like compare it a little bit to the game because those two are really close together. They're actually written by Neil Druckmann, who is in charge of the entire The Last of Us series and the property. And I gotta say, they just did a really good job. So without further ado, let's go into the review. So like I said before, The Last of Us TV show follows pretty closely the plot of the game. So The Last of Us universe takes place in this post-apocalyptic world where it's been ravaged by zombies, like controlled by this like mutant fungus who basically goes into their brains and transforms them into these horrifying creatures. And like basically it follows Joel, who is the main character, and he encounters this girl named Ellie who is immune to this fungus, and he is trying to take her from one side of the country to the other in order to find this group of people named the Fireflies, who are supposed to discover more about her nature and her role in this world. And I gotta say, yeah, the plot is basically fantastic. The writing is really good. It is really close to the game. I think if you really enjoyed the game, you're gonna realize that this adaptation is really good. It's basically like a lot of the same dialogue is in here. It's something I really appreciated, especially like in the first episode. I feel like this TV show has one of the best openings in the entire any TV show I've ever watched. I feel like episode 1 of The Last of Us is really amazing. It really sets everything in motion, and it's a really condensed version of the events of the Last of Us game, like in the beginning. So those events take like a couple hours to get through, you know, with the gameplay and the cutscenes. And this one does a really good job of condensing that, and I think like an hour and a half. It sets up a really awesome beginning with you know, Joel's daughter, and then like a time skip that happens after that. And I'm gonna go into some light spoilers because I feel like it's necessary to talk about some spoilers. So if you haven't played the first game, I'm not gonna talk about the second game, just the first one and like how it relates to the TV show. So basically in the game, so Joel loses his daughter, and that sets up the beginning of his relationship with Ellie. I feel like it's basically a really deep analysis of Joel's character and how he relates to Ellie, and how he's trying to find some of the things he lost with his first daughter with her. And that is something we explored during the course of the TV show. Like we find the relationship grow, and we see them like interact with each other and just grow closer together. Everything that leads to the really explosive ending at the end. So overall, The Last of Us has some really important themes, like with you know, taking care of the people you love, responsibility, commitment, and all that, those kind of things, like dealing with past trauma. And you know, I feel like the way the TV show deals with these topics is just really important. I feel like some of the conversations between Joel and Ellie are really important to establish these topics that they discuss, like some of their previous experiences, and their characters really get developed a lot during the course of the TV show. I feel like the music really complements it. It's composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, who also made the music for the games. Especially the intro is really good, and the tone is really dark. It's really atmospheric, and that's something I really appreciated because I feel like this one has a much more darker tone than other TV shows like surrounding zombies. It's kind of more serious, and it really reflects a lot of the feelings for the game. So if you're not a gamer and you watch this TV show, you're going to enjoy a lot. And you actually, this is something I really appreciate about the show. It's that it's basically going to create a new generation of gamers who are going to be drawn to The Last of Us to see like how the story continues. And that's a really good thing for the overall industry. And also, it's a really well produced show. You can really see that HBO put a lot of effort and money into this TV show because every episode, especially the ones with a lot of action and a lot of infected, really show the budget. There's some scenes with the, you know, like the, you know, zombies and the clickers and the really big one that are really well done. And it's a mix of CGI and practical effects. So I feel like the action was really well done. I feel like there were a lot of things that really worked in this TV show, especially with, you know, like the CGI. Sometimes it worked, but like a lot of the times it's mostly just like recording in, you know, locations that they basically had to change everything to make it look post-apocalyptic, so you can really see the effort in the, you know, the show. Like I said before, the acting is top notch. I mean, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey pretty much stole the entire show. they're really good actors, and I feel like they were really great choices for these two characters. I feel like they were very different from the game counterparts. I feel like they're just really different versions from Joel and Ellie from the video games, but that is fine. I feel like these two characters really, I mean, the two actors really breathe life into Joel and Ellie in really new ways that we haven't seen before. The side cast is also great, especially there is an episode like episode 3 with Nick Offerman. I feel like that episode is a really well done, and it's basically the episode that really diverges the most from the game. It basically creates like the entire episode is just new material, and it delivers a story that is just really, really emotional, really fantastic. And that is pretty much the only big thing that diverges from the game is Bill and Frank's story. And I gotta say that episode is really fantastic, and it basically makes the show so much better how they took that risk with that episode, and it really paid off. And like they turned this like minor character from the game which is Bill and also Frank, and they turn him into like this really emotional story that I feel a lot of people are going to appreciate. And I really enjoyed that episode, and I feel like it's really justified the changes they took with that. So overall, the show is fantastic. I really liked all the things that they did different. I liked the parts where they followed the story from the game. I feel like if you watch the TV show, you're pretty much gonna get all the major plot elements from the game, especially throughout the ending. I feel like the ending is gonna be really divisive, but it's gonna be exactly the same as The Last of Us, the first game. So I feel like if you play that game, you're gonna get a lot of the same emotions, and it's something I really enjoyed. I really enjoy like endings that leave you with a really hard emotional dilemma to think about, and that's what this show does at the end. It really plays a lot with those themes of, you know, love and responsibility and doing the right thing, even if it might not seem like the right thing. But yeah, those are pretty much most of my thoughts on The Last of Us. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fantastic show. Definitely one of the best written TV series of all time. And I gotta say, like, each episode kept me hooked from beginning to end. I feel like there was not a really dull moment in the series. There was a lot of TV shows that just go back and forth, or they become boring. But I feel like every single episode is different enough from each other to like become like a mini film in its own way. So it's just a really great show from beginning to end. I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm gonna give The Last of Us TV series a 95 out of 100. I feel like it really is one of the best things I've ever seen. It's really reminiscent of the show, and I can't wait to see where they take it next, because they said they're gonna split the events of the second game into two parts, which is gonna be like season 2 and season 3. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to see where, like, how they adapt that story, because it's a much more complex, and it's very dark and emotional, and that's why I'm really excited, because it's going to be very different from the first season. So anyways, those are pretty much all my thoughts on The Last of Us. If you enjoyed it, please go watch it, and also follow my channel, follow my Twitch, and yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So see you later.